All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the first episode of Den Excelsior. This weekly podcast is mainly just an excuse for fellow nerds to discuss all things Marvel. And when applicable, we may also talk about what's going on with their distinguished competition. If it involved heroes or villains in silly costumes this week, it's probably fair game. We're live streaming this episode on YouTube on January 15th, 2021, but you can also find us on platforms like Podbean, Google, and Apple Podcasts. My name is Dennis, and with me, I have my two fabulous magician's assistants, Illusion and Glamour, aka Frank and Ricky.
Hello. Wait, where's Frank?
We got to add him.
The trick went awry.
They killed me, those sons of beasts.
Damn it! Let him in.
Those magician's assistants, quite timely.
Do we have to fight over who's glamour and who's illusion?
I mean, I want to be glamour, so.
Oh exactly. Man, I want to be glamour.
I think everybody wants to be
the leotard.
Yeah. But yeah, how's it going, guys? I'm excited to do this.
It's good.
Yeah.
I called in sick from work today just so I could watch both episodes.
We only need like an hour.
Are you for real? Did you really do that?
I did call in sick, but it's because I'm actually sick. It wasn't because I just wanted to see the episodes. It wasn't like the time where I faked a seizure to play Spider-Man, Marvel Spider-Man for the PS4.
Oh, God. At work?
No, well, okay, so the first seizure I had was real, but then later I faked a second one because it was closer to the time of the game releasing.
So if you're just riding the coattails.
So yeah, I extended a real seizure into a fake one.
Well, I think that was a nice testament to the quality of Marvel fans that we have on this show here. Yeah, this is basically, in case anybody's new to this, like we've been doing a podcast for about a year now, covering The Mandalorian. And as much as I love The Mandalorian, there is one thing that I love more than pretty much everything else, and it's Marvel. And I've always just wanted to do something where I can just sit around with my friends and talk Marvel. This is what I used to do, at work when we were doing, work. We would be doing this as well. So this is why we just decided to create a space where people who are fans of anything Marvel, whether it be movies, TV, video games, toys, and whatever it is, if you like it, just come chat with us and we'll talk about all of it. So that's basically what's going to come in this episode. Obviously, we're dying to talk about, WANDAVISION premiering today. But, we also have other stuff to talk about. We'll be talking about some news. We'll do some Q&A at the end of the show, but the live comments are going right now. And then as well, we also have a fun little thing we called Multiverse Bingo, which is
Multiverse Bingo.
It's just going to be us playing that throughout the whole season of WandaVision to see how many nerdy things actually pop up in that show that we may have predicted or whatever.
I mean, we obviously chose to start this show today for the return of the MCU.
Yes,
which feels good. It's been well overdue. But holy shit, dude! A ton of other stuff just happened to happen this week as well.
I don't think that was a coincidence, by the way. I think that's called marketing. That's how you do it,
baby.
Yeah. But yeah, no. If why don't we talk about that first, and then
Let's get into it. So, right off the bat, I would say the first.
Okay, well, he removed himself.
Yep, he's gone. So he's out of here.
I don't really know how.
I'm back.
Look who comes crawling back.
Technical difficulties.
Nice.
I mean, that's the biggest thing to come out of this side week is Deadpool 3 is going to be in the MCU with an R rating, straight from Feige. I don't think it's a surprise.
Do you really think that's the biggest news? Like, I don't know. I kind of saw that coming a mile away. Like, even
now it's out of the horse's mouth. I think it makes it official.
Right, but I mean the head of Disney said 2 years ago that they would cross that bridge when they come to it, but they don't see why they couldn't have Deadpool be a rated R franchise still. What I mean, it is to be clear, it is crazy to know that at some point down the line, Disney will officially release a rated R movie. Like that's going to happen, and I'm assuming. I mean, technically, it's going to be under the Marvel banner. So I mean, that's kind of like how they've still been releasing rated R movies under like the Fox or Fox Searchlight banner or whatever, what I mean?
That's true.
And they've always done it before, like Touchstone or whatever, like. So I don't know. I mean, I think it's exciting to know that it's official, but I mean, is it the biggest news? What else?
They could have gotten away with, I think, a PG-13 rating. Would it have been as fun? Would it have been as?
Did anyone watch that Deadpool PG-13?
Yeah. So my boss, or my old boss, is super Christian, and that was the only way that he could enjoy Deadpool was with the PG-13 version.
I've wanted to see it. I just can't find it anywhere for free on well, not free, but like on the platforms that I paid for, I cannot find it, So
yeah.
You don't want to pay for PG-13 Deadpool?
I have no media restriction.
I don't. Let me make this clear. I don't want to pay additional money for PG-13 Deadpool. You know what I mean? Because I know it's the same movie that I already paid for in theaters. But I do want to see it to know the differences. Yeah.
With more Fred Savage. That's
what other news you got, Ricky? Because that was a dud.
This is a quickie. So Morbius, obviously because of COVID, theaters are closed. Got pushed back to fall 2021.
For me, what that says is like, when do we get the news on Black Widow? Because that's the one people want to know. Do you know what I mean? Because
that's fine. Like, is Jared Leto going to send people condoms with bats in them? Like, who cares? Like, I'm cool with it being delayed because I didn't really want it anyway. Like,
I'm curious. I mean, they're obviously putting hooks in with Spider-Man with that movie, so you'll have me intrigued with that just alone.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't mind the idea of that movie. I just and I don't mind that it's back to an October release because I think that's when it was scheduled to be last year, right? It was supposed to be October. It seems very Halloween-y.
No, so Venom. Either that or Venom, but yeah.
Yeah, whatever. But I just I can't. We're not to the point yet where I can get super excited about the MCU because I still don't know how I'm going to be able to consume a lot of these things. You know what I mean? So that's why I feel like you're putting the cart before the horse if we start talking about when Morbius is coming out, when we need to know when Black Widow is coming out first. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's the more important one, because if we don't get her out first, she's going to just continuously derail the entire schedule.
I wonder, because Disney's putting their fiscal year over sometime in April. So I'm assuming that movie has to be out by then.
I mean, it doesn't have to be.
Does it?
I don't think it has to be. I think assuming, what happens.
I wouldn't mind seeing it on VOD, but I feel like they're going to make money in the theaters, like if they put it out in the theaters. So they have to put it out in the theaters, unfortunately, for us who want to consume it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But so all the news that you're giving, I really like, because it's basically like Kevin Feige just did the rounds, like interviewing all over the place. And no doubt, like in every single interview, it was to plug WandaVision, which is obviously the reason we're here as well today. But yeah, he did mention in an interview that their plans for Black Panther are not to recast him and not to use a CG Black Panther. You know what? I don't know that I mind that, because I honestly, like, yes, we got one Black Panther movie, but dude, we got him in like 4 movies.
Yeah,
that's pretty good. Like we got him in 4 movies. Like if he wasn't in 4 movies, I would be super sad. Like if he only had the 1 movie and it was Black Panther, I would just be like, man, I just feel like it's too soon to get rid of to let go of T'Challa. But in the process of
he has an arc for sure.
Yeah, but in the process of getting ready for WandaVision, I was going back on Disney Plus and just like looking through all the different movies, and I was kind of like accidentally running into T'Challa all over the place, and I was like, you know what, you did good, man. You did. You gave us a lot. Like I started feeling things, and I'm like, damn it, I'm not supposed to be feeling this right now. It's Wanda and Vision right now. Like,
So I've never been a big fan of Black Panther in the comic books. I've never hidden that fact. But I think if anyone played a good T'Challa, it was Chadwick Boseman. So it's a bummer to lose him. But at the same time, like hopefully they just kind of go on with the universe. Maybe give him like a sweet memorial off screen or something, and like put Shuri or M'Baku into the Black Panther mantle.
Yeah.
Who was going to do the Black Panther movie in the 90s? Was it Spike Lee?
I think Spike
Lee. It was going to be the Wesley Snipes or
Denzel. Yeah, Wesley Snipes was probably EPing it for sure.
I mean, Black Panther related, the rumor this week as well, Michael B. Jordan is back.
That's a rumor this week.
A rumor.
That's not surprising.
That'd be fine. He was probably one of the best Marvel villains.
Yeah. So out of all of them. Here's the thing. Like, I expect everybody to come back because I expect at this point that the people who are only fans of the movies, they get to suffer with all the comic book fans and learn that death is meaningless in superhero stories. You know what I mean? Unless the actor dies. And in that case, the comics win. You know what I mean? The comics win over that because you can always have your cake and eat it too in the comics. But, in the movies, you gotta hope that the actor's still fit to perform. But, aside from that one, I know there was the other rumor, I think yesterday or today. No, yesterday that Chris Evans is back also, right? And
that's what they say, yeah.
There's more details than that one, because they're talking about him being back in like a limited role, kind of like Tony Stark in Spider-Man.
Yeah, well, there's rumors also that Tony Stark's going to be back in Black Widow too. So because Black Widow takes place in the past,
a flashback scene,
yeah. So in theory, they waited 1 movie and then brought RDJ back. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't mind any of that though. It's like, hey, Robert, do you want another house?
Okay, well, let me just put it this way: like when all of the MCU was happening, like for the first 10 years or whatever, I was all in. I just freaking loved it. I loved everything that was going on. But once we got to Infinity War and we were sitting there before that movie started, and I was like, I just want Spider-Man to die. And everybody's like, why do you want Spider-Man to die? And I was like, because I want everybody to know what that feels like. I want everyone to know what that death feels like. And I want
a monster.
And I want it because I feel like he hits you harder than everybody else. And then, man, when that snap happened and one by one he started started murking everybody, but the snap was very patient and willing to give everybody their own scene, as it was happening. But then
if they matter, they got their scene.
Yeah, but when the
Spidey
scene happened, it hit the hardest, right? Because he got to talk in his, like nobody else really got to.
Well, they got the fan canon saying that his Spidey healing is what kept him alive a little longer, and he knew what was going on because of his Spidey sense.
But for me, I had the biggest, most evil grin on my face during that movie. But when that movie was done, I was super happy, super satisfied. And I said to myself, I no longer care what they do. It doesn't mean I don't like what they do. It just means that I'm no longer going to be making my fan demands and saying, I need this to happen, or I need that to happen, or no, this can't happen, or whatever. No, I'm just along for the ride at this point. You know what I mean? So because I know that there's no way to keep the momentum going the same direction forever. You know what I mean? So when Endgame came around, it was fun. People died, people.
That's fun. That's the definition of fun, definitely.
Yeah, it came back. Well, people came back, and like all of that, it was happening, and so like even then, that movie kind of wrecks death, right? Like you just start, let's bring them all back, and except for Black Widow, But then that Loki trailer aired a month or two ago, and I'm pretty sure that's Black Widow in that trailer. So
looks like her. I've heard fans suggest that it might be female Loki, like a part of Loki's psyche. Yeah. There's a female Loki and a child Loki.
Could be, so, but whatever the case is, I don't care.
That looks like Voromir, like straight up.
Yeah, I'll let it happen. So Chris Evans come back, sure. Not surprising. Yeah. I don't mind.
Here's what they should do with Chris Evans's comeback: 6 episode miniseries of each one dedicated to him putting back a stone. Like that would be fantastic.
It would be really good. Like they wouldn't even have to be. They wouldn't even have to be long. They could be like 7-minute episodes, like that Legends, like that Legends show. Like
the one shots. Bring those back.
Give him a house, and he just makes these things happen. 7 minutes, whatever. It's just like super awkward and super.
Or just give him a camera at home in like a green screen, and let him do the shots in his home, and then have like ILM fill it all out and stuff like that.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah,
he just has this Adult Swim like conversation with Red Skull, and like they're just sitting there, and it's like super awkward. It's super like Tim and Eric humor. That would be amazing.
Right. So how long you been here?
Yeah, that would be fantastic.
By the way, Jacob M, yes, I totally agree. You gotta have your cake always.
Last of the rumors, was like hours fresh. Ethan Hawke is gonna be the villain in Moon Knight series.
I love Ethan Hawke.
Wasn't he like shitting on the MCU a while back ago?
Dude, every actor used to.
Until they give him a check.
Sure, yeah.
15 years ago, every actor except Robert Downey Jr. was. So,
Ethan Hawke.
Ethan Hawke's a great actor, dude. He's like
fantastic.
Yeah, he's like the trilogy, the Before trilogy, man. So good in those movies. So I'm down. I'm gonna be honest. I think I've read maybe a handful of Moon Knight.
I know nothing
in my life.
It looks cool.
And so like I can't even remember who his villains would be, So
I don't know.
Sun Knight.
He's kind of our weak spot in this collection of nerds here.
My knowledge of Moon Knight is Ultimate Alliance 1. He was the best character, so he was on my stupid team. I hated having him because I didn't know him, so I tried reading him. And I'm all like, this guy's like crazy. He's like, the only thing I liked was the Egyptian god element, and that was about it.
I read him when it was Chuck Houston and what is it, David Finch?
Oh,
yeah, and
that seems like cool. Right?
The art was super good, but that guy is crazy. And when I say that, I don't know if it's Chuck Houston or Mark Spector or both or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah. Moving on.
Wrapping up MCU stuff. We got some confirmation on what the shows are going to be in terms of episodes and runtimes.
Oh, cool.
So She-Hulk is going to be a 10-episode show with 30-minute episodes, which that's kind of neat. You get more flavor. I can see it be more sitcom-y.
Yeah.
Loki and Moon Knight. And
I want to ruminate on that for a second. So is it going to be 30 minutes of show or 23 minutes of show with like
see that's what I was complaining about earlier, because like you, Ricky, you got me all sold on this thing, because you're like, man, I can't wait for this grand experiment of Marvel in long form. And I was like, is it long form if the show ends up totaling the same screen time as Endgame? You know what I mean? And so then you told me what the runtimes were going to be of Scarlet Witch and Vision or WandaVision. And I was like, oh, okay, like 30 or 40 minutes each episode. Dude, there's 7 minutes of credits in that movie, or in that episode, in each episode.
Yeah,
We'll get into it later, but WandaVision is obviously taking advantage of the episodic thing.
only 4 minutes of English credits, like the rest are
seriously.
German.
But I'm saying, like, are they taking advantage of it, or are they taking advantage of us? You know what I mean? Like, because I felt like I barely got a chance to like get comfortable watching that episode before it was over. So if that's the case with all these other shows, I don't really care what they say the runtime is. Let me watch the thing and decide if it could have been just a movie, or if
Disney Plus subscriber.
I'm just saying 7 minutes of credits is a freaking lot when you got a 29-minute episode.
Worked on that show.
It's not. I don't have a problem with all the credits. I don't. I'm just saying, like, don't market it as a 29-minute episode.
Well, the other ones will be 40. That's the only 30-minute episode or 30-minute episode show. The other ones are going to be around 40 minutes, 45, which I'm down with.
40 minutes, saying, 20 minutes of credits.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, when Daredevil felt like, you know, a 50-minute show.
Too long.
Or
what?
No.
Yes, not Daredevil.
Daredevil's still the best MCU show that we have on TV so far.
One episode too long, some of those shows.
Oh man.
No.
That's a hot take.
That is a hot take. Can we remove Ricky? We just click the button.
He's got to go.
You can.
All right. Bye.
I mean, Power Man. Yeah, I could see that being too long. I could see Iron Fist being too long. Jessica Jones maybe at times. Definitely not Daredevil out of all of them.
I enjoyed most of Daredevil. Yeah, that's fair. Some toy news.
What you got? Toy news. I like this.
We got
cool.
All right.
Marvel Legends She-Hulk. Didn't I unbox this one?
You unboxed. So what this is a fan channel exclusive that just got announced on Monday, and it's not part of a set. It's just its individual figure. But what it basically is a repaint of the gray Hulk that came out in the Fantastic Four series a year ago. And for a while in the comics, like in the recent comics, she went by the name of Hulk after Banner died, you know, because everybody gets their turn dying in the comics. And so it's a really amazing sculpt. It's got like all these cuts in the clothes. That shirt is actually a separate piece. But like a lot of fans were kind of cranky because they're like, why is she gray? You know, like we want the green one. And so Hasbro is never one to miss an opportunity for a quick repaint to grab another $20 off their fans. And so there you go, guys. There's a brand new one. I think you can find that at all the regular toy online outlets like Big Bad and Entertainment. Oh, yeah, the photo on the back is amazing looking. I love it. And that's a new head. She came before. The old one came with the wavy hair head.
The hair one, yeah.
But the flat one, that's a new head. So I'm excited for that. Already pre-ordered.
Then what else we got? We got Marvel, or what is it? Not Marvel. Arcade 1UP. They announced some new machines this week at, was it CES? That's what's going on right now.
I think it was one new machine.
Well, they announced a few new machines. It's a one Marvel machine.
They showed a picture of one machine, but they announced 3, if I'm not mistaken.
No, I think it's one machine. Oh, I thought it was one machine with 3 games on it.
Correct.
Is that how it is? Oh, okay.
They announced 3 machines but one Marvel machine with 3 Marvel games on it.
Yeah.
So it's a famous X-Men arcade cabinet, the one you see at every arcade that's 8 feet long, 2 CRTs smacked together with a mirror.
But it's not. It's not. That's because the one you have in the picture there. That's this one. That's the 6. That's the 6-player one. But the one that 1UP is doing is 4-player, and that breaks my heart.
I love that one
because I think that's one of the only games that's ever been in the arcades that was 6-player. So
not COVID compliant.
But the cool thing is, like, I mean, it's still the same game, right? So like,
it's basically a 2-player. You have to stand on either end now. And
yeah. But if it's definitely not COVID compliant for sure. But if it's still the same game, then that means that it's still built to host 6 players. And I know that the cabinets that they make nowadays are Wi-Fi enabled, so you can play online. So maybe you still can play that 6-player.
Yeah, just drop $2,000 on a cabinet, and then you can play with your buddies.
Yeah. In all honesty, though, like I bought this game when it was on the PSN, like a few years ago for like, you know, $15 on PS3, and it's not good.
Well, what's the other two? The Galaxy Storm and
Ricky, we had a comment saying to update the banner.
Yeah, Ricky, update your banner. There you go.
Our public is clamoring for an upgraded banner.
House Soda for doing a better job producing this show.
Hey.
Tell us what the other games are. I think Frank was excited about one of them.
Oh yeah, no. So the X-Men one, actually, I wanted to talk about that. So what I used to do before going to lunch, I would set it on repeat, like 10 hours of repeat of Colossus going, just like over and over again, and then I'd lock my computer and just take off for lunch. So all my coworkers would have to listen to Colossus for the entire lunch hour.
What a dick.
The other games are Captain America. God,
and the
Avengers. And then Galaxy Storm, right?
And then Avengers Galaxy Storm, right? Yeah.
I've never heard of either of those games.
Captain America and the Avengers is a great game. I think I played the port on like Nintendo.
Yeah, Super Nintendo. That was a good one.
Or maybe Genesis or something like that.
The sound is all effed, and it's all like.
But the other game is like a fighting game that I had never seen before. That Galactic Storm.
Yeah, Galactic Storm. It's crazy. I think I had it for. Shoot, it was like one of the Sega games. I'm trying to think if it was for not the Dreamcast. It was for the one after the Dreamcast, whatever that was.
Yeah.
But the graphics are great because it's almost like Liefeld. They like took Liefeld-esque art and put it into the game and made it like 3D. Like it's amazingly bad.
Just tiny feet.
Yeah, basically.
I think we're moving on.
Last bit of news. Obviously, recent events. The Punisher logo has been showing up at these riots and attacks on our nation, and there's been plenty of calls to remove this logo from I don't think who's complaining about this.
I don't think they want to remove the logo. I think they want to have Marvel do something to like retire the character or something like that. You know, this is just dumb. It's dumb because let's be honest, like anybody that's appropriating any mascot or anything ever, you know, you always have to question the intent behind it and if they're even able to understand fully what it is they're appropriating. I don't blame the Punisher for this. I don't blame the creators of the Punisher, and I don't blame Marvel for this either. You know what I mean? Like,
it's not their fault. I mean, it's like a dude called the Punisher. He shouldn't be representing law and order.
Well, no, because they think they're punishing the wicked. You know what I mean? I get it. It's all up to interpretation, right? So, but the trick is like, I don't think this is on Marvel to do anything about removing the character from their library or whatever like that. I think what they just need to do is if they want to get on board with the creators who are very much against how he's been appropriated, I think you just got to tell a really good definitive Punisher story where he teams up with a bunch of persons of colors and they go and just kill people that are very similar to the types that we've seen appropriating him. You know what I mean? And or just punish them. You know, he doesn't always punish by killing, just 99% of the time.
Or just remake the character as the rewarder, and he goes around and he rewards people that are good
with
and
bullets.
and then gang members that are bad, they have to wear like a silly hat, or they have to wear like a badge that says like "I am dumb," or he'll kill them.
Yeah, I just
I mean, it shows like the ignorance. So, like, if you're just repping that, and
yeah, the problem is
like,
if they tried to like do something where like they pulled all merch or they pulled the character from the comics or whatever, then as far as I'm concerned, the terrorists win. But then it's only a matter of time before they just replace him with something else. So like the character's still golden, he's still great. He's just not. It's just unfortunate what it is right now.
They've done some things to like soften up the Punisher over time, and then he'll end up like killing the Marvel universe or some shit. Like Punisher will do things like they may retire him for a little bit, but just
I mean they technically can because he's also the Cosmic Ghost Rider. Do you know what I mean? So they can just lean into Cosmic Ghost Rider stories for a while. So
DC over at the Distinguished Competition did something like that with like what's his name, Hal Jordan, where they made him the Spectre for a little while and totally changed the character, totally opened up. Hal, he was for like because he killed all his Green Lantern buddies.
Well, and the Spectre like also in his own way kind of controversial, right? Because he's like the right hand of God, like so. Which
for DC, that's just a normal thing, being the right hand of God or a god or
that's fair.
Like that. So
that's fair.
I just wanted to toss those 2 cents out. Like even if they do remove the Punisher for a while, like the Punisher will be back in some form or another. And like you said, he's the Cosmic Ghost Rider. So
yeah. All right, Ricky, you got anything else?
That's all the news I got.
All right, that's all the news. Well, then, do we do this? Is it time? Can we talk about
WandaVision time? Can we do it?
I think it's time to talk about WandaVision.
Let's do it.
All right. I think before, obviously let's just warn people, hey, thanks for sticking around for this long. If for some reason you haven't watched WandaVision yet, you should probably go and watch it and then come back and check us out for the rest of the show, because we're going to spoil. We're going to spoil for the next, 30 minutes or so. I think just a quick recap of, they premiered 2 episodes today. They released 2, and like I complained about earlier, they were way too short. But I think my recap of the 2 episodes was a very simple one, which was this is the one where Marvel did very little beyond channeling an era that many of its fans are too young to remember. What do you guys think? What do you think of the first 2 episodes of the show?
I mean, I liked them. I liked they really leaned into what they were doing, or what they were trying to do is emulate these classic TV shows of yesteryear. And it's kind of like the inverse of my complaints of The Mandalorian. Like, there's never any story. There's never any story. I didn't really mind it with these. I liked the slow drip. Maybe it's just because the nostalgia of visiting back, turning back time to see these old shows,
I'm just curious, as someone as young as you are, do you even know what shows they're referencing?
I Love Lucy and Bewitched. As someone who's named Ricky, I am very familiar with the ins and outs of I Love Lucy just by association.
They also Dick Van Dyke did a bit, because I say that because I have an Ottoman and I've Dick Van Dyke myself a few times on the Ottoman. Whereas for our younger viewers, that's when I tripped on my Ottoman. And instead of tripping, he flipped the script and he just phased right through it. So that was pretty cool to see. Yeah. I saw a lot of Dick Van Dyke in that first episode, especially with his boss. His boss looks just like I don't remember the name of the boss on Dick Van Dyke, but he looks a lot like him.
There's arguably a decent amount of like I Dream of Jeannie and Mary Tyler Moore and a lot of other shows in there too. Thankfully, no honeymooners. We don't need to see spousal abuse being threatened.
Yeah, we got to make it accurate, right?
But I got what they were referencing for sure. I really liked at first, I really liked it. But I think really quickly the charm started wearing off on me because I'm like, okay, I get what you're doing. You're referencing TV shows, but like, what's the point? What's the point of it? And so, as much as I enjoyed all the sitcom-y jokes and silliness and playfulness that we were seeing, at the end of the day, like the actual story that happened in both episodes was basically 2 minutes of them saying,
Wanda,
something's weird, like
Wanda.
this doesn't feel right, like they just kind of like them pulling out of the moment for like and kind of almost breaking the fourth wall,
Like Truman Show, almost.
Yeah, a little bit, but but Truman Show's a lot faster to get to the point.
It felt more like Lost to me, like, but when Lost was still kind of good, but after it was already good, like second season of Lost, where it was like it still had the goodwill of first season, but you were like, okay, let's get to the point. Let's figure out where we're going with this now. Let's come up with the end goal. We want to see some character motivation, and I think the first two episodes did a good job of getting us invested or getting us to like the character. Like I don't think Elizabeth Olsen had too much of a character before. We can argue about that if you'd like. But like I think she showed a lot of charm in these two episodes.
She was great. I really do love her in that. But I think my only complaint is like if you cut the 7 minutes off of each episode, you still end up with about 51 minutes, right, of actual episode. That is also including two different title cards that we got
earlier. They're the same. Essentially, they're the same plot,
right? They go on. They do wacky adventures in their new neighborhood while they try to get the all the citizens of this new town that they're living in to like them. And so they just do silly things like make dinner for the boss or compete in the talent show. But like on the larger point of it, like, I mean, they're realizing that something about this is false,
If I can interrupt real quick, I got Good Place vibes from it. A lot of Good Place vibes. So I feel like it might not just be, or it's probably not just Wanda and Vision that are stuck in this world.
Oh, it's probably not for sure because like Geraldine, who we knew was cast to play Monica Rambeau, but Geraldine is clearly confused about what's going on there too. But and everybody just seems a little off, for the kids, exactly, right? Like how many times they say for the kids in that second episode? It's kind of creepy. I mean,
that's the neat part. All those little nuggets of detail, I guess, that are dropped, and that's what makes it exciting for me.
Yeah, I just feel like I don't know that we needed 2 episodes to get that point across. And obviously, I'm being a little overcritical right now. When the whole show's over, I'll be like, "Man, we so needed those 2 episodes." You know what I mean? But like, but it's definitely showing a pace, right? Of like, they're changing the balance. So like in the first episode, you only get
setting the rules.
Yeah, you only get in the first episode, you only get seconds of realizing that it's not real, And in the second episode, you get a little bit more because that voice on the radio is breaking through to
something. Something real breaks through.
So hopefully by the third episode, we're pushing generationally. Maybe by the third episode, we're getting into like Brady Bunch era, and we're starting to do like later shows in the 80s and stuff at some point, and then we can just get out of it. Eventually, I want to see by like episode 4 or 5, we break out of this mold of redoing TV shows because I feel like that gimmick's gonna wear thin after a while, unless we get to see more of the behind the scenes of like who's watching this show and how is it a show. You know what I mean? Like
if they get, have you ever watched the Adult Swim thing? Too many cooks. Yeah. Like if each episode it starts out as a show of past, but it gets like loonier and loonier throughout the duration. Like I'd be down with that.
I definitely believe it's going to get loonier and loonier. So, I'm excited to see that. But I just felt like, what happened? I mean, the only other significant thing that did happen in the second episode was, that episode started with them being startled by a tree. And then after they figured out it was a tree, they conveniently, made whoopee, because that's what you call it back then in the 60s. And then by the end of the episode, she's full on pregnant. She's, I would say, at least, what should be halfway to term. Like she's at least 4 or 5 months pregnant, right?
My man Vision put it in
her. And so, that's cool, because like I think we wanted that, not the sex part specifically.
Oh, we wanted
that.
We wanted I think we were speculating that we were getting some good House of M vibes and Disassembled vibes, and some of the classic stories with Wanda involve the fact that she and Vision eventually, like for a while, have kids in the comics, and for some reason the Avengers take forever to like call them out on that, because there's no good reason they should be able to have kids, right?
It was like a plot in the 70s or 80s. Oh no, late 80s, where they had the kids, and it was a plot with Agatha Harkness and Mephisto, where they get, well, I don't know if I should spoil it or talk about it, but like they get reabsorbed back into Mephisto because they were a part of Mephisto to start with. It was like a deal with the devil, basically, that made the kids.
Maybe we could talk about it, right? Like I'm curious to see how they bring in the devil, into the MCU.
Or I think it's rather if it's when or where, or an if even. You know what I mean? I think Marvel's done a great job in the movies of introducing a lot of extra dimensional beings, to the point where it doesn't need to be Mephisto, or Mephisto doesn't need to be the devil, right? Mm-hmm. Like there are times in the comics where he's not necessarily the devil. Yeah. He is a lesser devil, right? Or something like that. But we have Dormammu, we have Ego, we have the Grand Master, we don't even know what the hell Nowhere was. Nowhere is just a head that people live in. But you know what I mean? Like we haven't seen Nowhere or something on that scale.
Eternal's coming out in November 2021.
Yeah, in theory.
It'd be okay for them to lean into the more weird like that. Like I think it was cool that they made Thor an extraworldly being instead of a straight up god, and they kind of rationalize it like he was a god because they could understand what their technology was, and that's fine. So I'd be okay with them making Mephisto like something similar, like a rationalized being, but I'd be really cool if they were just like, nah, he's a demon. Nah, it's cool. He's a demon. I'm going to fight him with Doctor Strange, like something like that would be fine. I want them to lean into the weird. I think now's the time where they should do it, because I'm tired of the cookie cutter Marvel, where it's like, a big gray villain fight at the end of a villain that I don't really care about, or like 1,000 robots fighting 7 people. Like, I'm good with that. That scratched the niche for a while. I'm ready to move on to like the more weirder Marvel.
Well, I think they're ready to move on too, and that's why they're giving us this weird thing. And I think the whole point of them doing 2 full episodes that are homages to famous 1960s TV shows is that they want to show you just how weird they're going to get. But for me, that's not the part that makes it weird. I need to see like the puppet master behind it that's making it happen for me to be on board with the weird. You know what I mean? Because like you're saying, Frank, like I want to see the Mephisto or whatever it is in control, because it's going to be more fun. Like it's no fun if you don't know who the villain is, right? Like you need to have the villain.
Yeah, you need to establish the villain and clear motives of what they want. But also, I need a clear motive of what the heroes want too. So I was going to talk about that with the highs and the lows, but if we want to start that now, I could just go into it.
I think we can we have been talking about it. So tell me what your highs and lows were.
Sure, like there's no clear motivation. Like I think that Vision seems to be the one that wants to figure things out, and Wanda seems to be like blissfully happy to the point where she rewinds time to be blissfully happy.
I don't think Vision's real. Like honestly,
I disagree. I disagree.
I think Vision's real. I think Vision and both Wanda are real, but I think they're in their own kind of Ready Player One games.
They're like in some sort of weird limbo because if Vision wasn't real, Vision wouldn't have his own scenes without Wanda.
Exactly.
That would break it because he has his own scenes where he's trying to figure out what's going on, right? When he's at his job, he's like, what do we even do here? Like, you know what I mean? Like the fact that Vision is questioning everything that's happening says that Vision is just as much as real as Wanda is.
I'm thinking he's on a mainframe somewhere in Wakanda, like just kind of hanging out and trying to get out.
Because Shuri mapped everything, right? She mapped
San Junipero Black Mirror episode. That's
Shuri's got a full backup file of Vision that we never got to address that, right? Because there ended up being a giant war right after they backed him up. Then
she only has
and then like half the world died.
Vision, right? They got stopped by hooded Thanos guy.
And that could add to the confusion.
Corvus Glaive.
Yeah. Did you say hooded Thanos guy?
Corvus Glaive. Yes.
Thanos' nephew that he just hired because his mom said he had to. That kind of guy. Just like
But in any case, I do believe that is actually Vision, or at least a reasonable facsimile of Vision. And I believe that Monica Rambeau is actually there too, and she's part of it. And obviously, we're not addressing the big elephant in the room, which is the sword symbol at the end of both episodes, right? Yeah. Sword is the agency that supposedly Nick Fury was making after S.H.I.E.L.D., right? I think that's the implication of that post-credit scene in Spider-Man Far From Home when he's up on the space station with the Skrulls and they're building something because at that point Nick Fury knows that it's not enough to have your eyes looking inward. We have to be looking outward at threats, otherworldly threats. And so that's the point of Sword, which is sentient. What is it? Sentient worldly.
Sentient world observation and response.
And this is weapons operation.
Yeah, and it's sentient weapons. Yeah. So there's a little bit of a distinction. Yeah.
Gotcha.
They made that distinction. So like that's why I think everyone there is like a superpowered person. It's going to be someone superpowered from Marvel. One of the people I was thinking, I don't remember what they said, but like I was feeling like I'm like, wow, are you going to be like a Madam Web type person? Because that would be sick. Like, and why not make one Madam Web? Someone is Destiny. Someone is some of those kind of future sight people, because they all kind of play into Wanda and Vision's kind of story. Those were people that were like Destiny was in the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants,
right?
And they have other people like that. So that would be really cool. That'd be a cool reveal at the end.
Yeah. As for you said you're low, but did you say you're high?
Me? Oh, my high. I think. And this is kind of weird. Like, I think my high was getting to see their charisma. The only real time we got to see them together was in Avengers: Infinity War. That's the only time we got to see them being like a couple. And I think seeing them laugh and giggle and tell stupid jokes together that was a great high. And I don't think we could have done that in a half hour. And I'm glad we had 1 hour to do it because we could see them in two different situations. You see Vision basically drunk in that situation, and then they kind of work through it and kind of have a good time with it. So I think the 2 episodes that they gave us with that is good. Now let's move forward. Let's see Lost.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, like I was telling my wife, if if they had only given us the one episode, I think I would have been mad because it just doesn't show you really much of anything else outside of that fun, cute, like happy honeymooners type vibe. Or not honeymooners the show, but like and then but by the second episode we're like, okay, yeah, something weird's happening, and Wanda's somewhat capable of manipulating it, like, so yeah, I do appreciate the chemistry between them for sure. That was long overdue, absolutely, because I was rewatching all their scenes from the movies, and there's some good moments, but not enough, right? Like, there's definitely not enough.
Yeah, I mean, they were definitely.
Yeah, for me though, I thought what was the coolest part was actually I really loved the attention to detail that they did put in. If they were going to go all in on these old TV shows, I really love that the first 2 episodes of this show were actually filmed in 4:3. I loved how much Bewitched was there, but like how when they did the Bewitched intro in the second episode, they had their own little, like, all these little Easter eggs hidden through the intro. Like, I don't know if you notice when it's the moon and then the stars light up, there's actually 6 stars forming a hexagon.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see that? Like, it was a hex, because her magic used to be called hex magic, right? Like, she used to do hex spheres or whatever. And then I really liked, all the little nods to their universe in the comics, whether or not it actually is hints at stuff that's going to be in this season or what. But like, if you look when she's at the supermarket, up on the back wall, there's like these 3 different signs or ads for different things. Like, one is Auntie A's kitty litter, and I'm pretty sure that's a reference to Agatha Harkness, right? Because she also has a cat too. I know there's another. What was that?
Ebony's the cat's name, I think.
Yeah, exactly. And then there's Bova milk, which like I surprised.
You had to explain this one to me.
I had to explain that to Ricky, but Bova milk, that's a reference to Pietro and Wanda Maximoff's nursemaid, or
It's a reference to the Last Jedi when Luke milks
yes,
those weird sea cows.
But Bova is the half cow, half woman hybrid that raised them as children, and so I mean, that's comics. What are you going to do? But I like that that's in there in that picture. And then I don't know if you noticed, but over there on the left it says Wonder, and then her head's, was it Wonder Oats? You think?
Yeah, I think Wonder Oats. I'm pretty sure.
And that's what I was kind of hoping to see. Like, we were promised a long time ago that they were going to develop a Wonder Man story at some point. But Wonder Man really is tied to Vision and Scarlet Witch a lot. So if
he is Vision, arguably.
And then like, once you see that Wonder Oats thing, and then I think, Ricky, you had a picture of like showing Vision scroll phasing through the building, through the house.
Oh, Grim Reaper's helmet.
Yeah, and there's Grim Reaper's helmet there in the who is Wonder Man's brother, right? Yep. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, see that little thing that looks like half a Spider-Man symbol.
Looks like Galactus. It might be Galactus.
Yeah,
guys.
or Galactus. But no,
Galactus
it's likely Wonder. It's Grim Reaper's helmet. Yeah. So I liked all the little things that they were throwing in there, and I just kept trying to pick out more. Like it. We were trying to figure out, is Agnes Agatha? It seems like all signs are pointing to yes. And then if you see that,
I had a Grim Reaper on it.
Oh, did it? Oh, is that what it is? Okay, there you go. Or maybe is Grim Reaper the guy that's doing all of this to them? And then,
Ralph.
Yeah, who's Ralph, right? But then to throw off the scent, right? Then there's the wine bottle, which is Maison du Mépris. Yeah, and that translates to House of Contempt or Scorn, or it's just literally House of the letter M, which is the thing to look at, right? So House of M is like the story that I think most fans want to see brought to the big screen or the little small screen. So
yeah, House of M is like how can I put it? It's like Civil War or like Maximum Carnage, where everybody like loves the crap out of it. and everybody wants to see it like done on the screen, but I don't think they're ready for House of M, to be honest, unless Feige has like an ace up his sleeve for like the last episode, you know, instead of her saying no more mutants, she says no more mutants, and then that makes the X-Men and stuff like that appear or something like that.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? But I don't think it's that it literally needs to end with no more mutants. I think the point of why that story was so awesome, because No More Mutants is the end of the story. It's not the actual story. No More Mutants is what leads to the next story that happens, right? But the House of M story is special because it shows just how powerful Wanda is, in that she can manipulate all of reality. She can make everybody in the universe, or at least in the world, forget what their life was before, and she can remap everything. You know, that's how powerful she is.
That's what this show's down. That's what this show's going to be trickling through us or for us. It's her power level and what she's capable of, and why you know she's on this watch or lockdown or something.
Yeah, like she did during the talent show, right? She was totally manipulating everybody to like see reality differently, right? And some people wanted to question it, but then the majority are like, shut up, Bev. You know, like when she's like, is that how mirrors work? You know, like shut up, Bev. You know, like but she can do that. She can change the way people perceive reality.
I love that they're not, the effects that they're showing, like it's a jump cut, you know. They're very of the time.
Yeah, they're cool, but they're really well done though. They're really well done.
Yep. Yeah, the flying lobsters and the lobster on the doorknob
on wires and stuff.
Yeah.
But you can't see the wires, so that's what's cool.
Yeah, I like the way they did that. That's pretty cool. So I'm hoping when they do the 70s, I hope it goes with those kind of effects, like Punky Brewster, or
you do the $1 Million Man jump.
That'd be great. I would like that.
I will say there was one effect that I still don't understand, but I am chalking it up to, I don't think Vision is physically real. I think his consciousness is real. But that trick where he pulled the food out of the dude's throat, that makes no sense to me at all. Like, how does Vision do that? He can't do that. He can't make other things intangible. That's his own. That's his own power. He can't. If he could do that, Wanda and Vision would have been safe in all the stories ever.
What they needed was this guy right here, Kalima. They needed this guy.
Oh, I thought that was the Bison guy from the Capitol riots for a second.
That's his uncle, his old uncle.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
I don't know how Vision was able to do that. Maybe he could intangibly like push the food up. They showed him Kalimaing the food, right?
He pulls it through the throat, like not out the mouth. Yeah. Like,
Kalimas it.
So maybe it is Wanda's reality that she's created, because like, you know, like if you notice, the two of them were just frozen, like they didn't do anything. They didn't react for a while, and they're Avengers, right? Like they're supposed to be Avengers, and so it was really weird to see that nobody doing anything heroic for a while until she finally said, "Do something, Viz," you know, like, and then he does the thing.
Well, do they remember them being Avengers? Do they know that?
I don't know. Maybe
I get the impression they don't. They don't know.
But in that moment, it almost felt like she was in control, right, of the situation.
It's like the end of the episode 2 when she rewinds, like she almost like awakes and like flip the script. Let's go back, you know.
Yeah.
That gives you the kind of sneak preview to the No More Mutants thing. She straight up says no, and she rewinds time like Evie from Out of This World. And
wow, that somehow that ages you more than knowing about I Dream of Jeannie and all those other shit.
Yeah, I Dream of Jeannie was like what, straight up Nick at Night stuff, right? That was when my family could afford cable for that period of time.
I watched those shows before Nick at Night existed, but it's cool, whatever.
Yeah, it was like during the day or in the morning time, like from 9 to like 11 before Young and the Restless would start. It would be like shit. What was it? I Love Lucy. It was a couple others, right? Like Dick Van Dyke Show, Mary Tyler Moore, I Love Lucy, and something else.
Yeah.
I think
I
Nick
think-
at Night was like my savior as a kid. I watched all of Home Improvement, not really understanding the stories, but for somehow liking Tim Allen.
That's so far beyond.
He's like, yeah, we got time. That'll be in like a few more episodes.
I did want to point out something else that I didn't want to miss this one, but the commercials.
Yes.
The commercials were interesting, mostly because one, the commercials featured two actors, a man and a woman. It's the same man and woman in both commercials. They're totally different products that they're selling, but I can't help but think that those commercials are repressed memories that Wanda is somehow recalling.
Definitely.
Because the Toast Mate 2000 from Stark Industries, like that thing kind of behaves like a bomb, right? Like in the commercial, and it's like literally the only piece of color that's in that episode is the red light that starts blinking like a bomb.
You get the repulsor sound from it.
So I rewatched the scene from Avengers: Age of Ultron where they're meeting Ultron and telling their story, and Age of Ultron came out in 2015, and the story that Quicksilver told Ultron is when they were 10 years old. They were trapped in their house, I think after their parents died from like a bombing thing. There's a bomb sitting there in their home that's literally says Stark Industries on them. And nobody can get into their house because like everything's collapsed. There's lots of rubble and everything. So they were stuck in there for 2 days staring at what they say, waiting for Tony Stark to kill us. And if you do the math, they're probably in their mid-20s in Age of Ultron. So if you think about when they were 10 years old, it was probably 2000. That's just my guess. So I'm thinking that thing is literally what the Toastmate 2000. I think that's a suppressed memory trying to remind her of that moment in her life in the year 2000.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean?
And the fact that when the toast was being made and they were like, oh, it'll be ready in a jiff or something, whatever they said. It'll be ready in a jiff. Oh, you and your gams, take your gams and walk out, doll face, whatever they said. It'll be ready in a jiff. And there was a beat. There was like a pause where it was just like not ready and not in a jiff and not gams or doll face. So there was that little beat, that waiting of it. And I think that definitely kind of adds a little bit of backup to what you were saying about them waiting for that bomb to go off.
Yeah, and then the second one, obviously, we still remember Baron von Strucker is technically the one who had a scientist experiment on them to give them their powers via the Mind Stone. You know what I mean? However they did that, they'll never explain that thoroughly, or maybe they will in the show. Who knows? But yeah, like Baron von Strucker was the head of Hydra that they cut off at the beginning of Age of Ultron. So. It seems like they're just referencing the origins of Wanda over and over. What brought her to who she is now? So who knows? Maybe we'll see another commercial that references the building that she blew up in Civil War.
Or the Mind Stone that made Vision.
Yeah, and made her too. It made her. Yeah.
So one thing I wanted to point out with the Baron Strucker watch or the Strucker watch is that it's at 8:23. Like the shorthand is at the 8 and the longhand is between the 2 and the 3:23, which is the same date that they were looking at for the Mr. Hart dinner party that they were supposed to have.
Nice.
So I'm wondering if that's going to be like a lost thing with 8s and 2s and 3s.
I would think it probably is since you're.
Should I look up what comic is Wanda 823?
I don't think it is. They don't go that far, dude. Yeah, they don't go that far for sure.
238.
It's 238. It's an Agatha Harkness issue.
Yeah.
With Madam Web.
But no, yeah, I really did like that.
I do like the Help Me Wanda scene. I thought that was very
Help Me Rhonda. That they just misheard as Wanda. Yeah. What do you think, Ricky? Do you got anything else, or do you think we should spice this up with a little bingo just to show people how our predictions went so far?
Let's do some bingo.
All right. So just so you guys know, what we did is, we obviously know the comics and we do know the MCU as well. So we made a giant bingo list of like all these different things that we might hope to see or have already seen since they showed up really quick. I threw them all in a list, did a random number generator, and then it spit out 3 bingo cards for us. And so what we've done here is just started labeling, marking. We got 2 colors for our bingos right now. If it's green, it's definitely already been referenced. If it's yellow, we're basically that's for us to like wait just a little. Yeah, we're almost there. We're almost willing to commit to it. So as you can see, the things that we have green so far on my card are Baron von Strucker and Sword. Those have clearly showed up there. Monica Rambeau, she'll get there soon. Eric Williams, the Grim Reaper. Where'd that go?
I'm bringing it back.
Bring it back.
Bring it back.
That was your card, right, Dennis?
That was my card. Yeah.
I'm following along on my computer, just in case he wants to.
Okay. Well, Ricky's hijacking this whole feed right now.
Ricky's just fooling around.
Sorry,
Ricky, what are you doing? We're trying to have a show here.
All right.
Eric Williams. This is Frank's card now. Okay.
He wanted to move to a more interesting card. I guess.
That's fine. That's fine. So Frank's got a lot of similar ones. Another one to point out is Billy and Tommy. Billy and Tommy, we're assuming they might make it onto this show. They are the twins that, in theory, Wanda is pregnant with right now. So they become actual characters in the Marvel universe, which I believe they will in the show too, because I think Marvel has been doing a good job of planting all the seeds for the Young Avengers.
What are their powers?
Doing great.
Their powers, since she made those kids, they're not real. Their powers emulate Wanda and Pietro's. So
fast and weird.
Fast and weird.
Fast and weird. The fast and the weirdest.
Yeah. So Billy's weird and Tommy's fast, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Billy Kaplan is Wiccan.
Billy's Wiccan.
Oh, okay. That's Wiccan and Speed.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, Wiccan and Speed.
Or Asgardian, as he was called.
Asgardian.
Asgardian.
But then you see we got some other fun ones on here that we're hoping may or may not happen. I got Sparky on you got Sparky on yours. That's the dog. That's the synthezoid dog that Vision creates at some point in the comics.
That's cool.
We got Mephisto. Good luck. We'll see.
I'm thinking.
Jocasta. That's the bride of Ultron.
You got Wizard up there.
Alchema.
We can color in the Wizard.
Wizard has not been in this show.
Not in the show.
They had in the opening of episode 2, one of the little tchotchkes on the table. Could be wrong.
What?
It's where was the Wizard.
Okay, I'm gonna have to watch it again.
All right. Yeah, I don't remember. All right, Ricky, let's see your card just so we can see how we're doing here.
My card is poop.
He's got the worst of them.
I'm pretty sure your card is the worst.
Like, I'm gonna guess Force Works. That's like a nice to have, but I don't think. Ricky, if they do Force Works, that'd be sick.
Ricky, you got technical difficulties here.
I know it's.
Oh, Ricky, your card is pretty embarrassing.
Oh, he's got Darcy. We saw Darcy in the trailer, so that's
he does have Darcy. Darcy's gonna happen. Victor Mancha. Ooh, that's like Vision's younger brother, right?
It's like yeah, it is.
That's Vision's brother.
It's Ultron's spawn.
Oh, you know what? You got some good ones. You could easily get bingo here, Ricky, because we know Darcy's going to show up. We're really fingers crossed that Quicksilver is going to make it back in the show, and all you need to do is have them reference Scarlet Witch's mom, Natalia Maximoff, and you got a bingo right there.
Good, yeah. You know, one thing that I want to mention, Pietro Maximoff, I would be happy with Evan Peters. Like if they somehow fold him into the show.
Will I get that bingo card if he comes in?
I will allow it.
As long as there's a Quicksilver, right? I don't know that it necessarily
Does he
needs
have to be playing Quicksilver in this show?
Oh, yes, he does.
Yeah.
Yes, he does. Yeah.
Oh.
He can't play his character on Murder House or something like.
Yeah, dude. What do you think? What are the odds of us getting the High Evolutionary in this show?
I mean, if we got that cow,
anything's wow, so much hate in that cow.
Yeah.
I think it's going to go the way of. Have you ever seen Disney Infinity toys? Traditionally, if you had a little disc, if it had like a character on the disc, you would not get the toy. So they had like a bunch of Darkwing Duck stuff. And I'm all like, yeah, that means we're going to get a Darkwing Duck toy. Never got a Darkwing Duck toy. So I think they're just putting those things in there to like shut us up and be like, hey, look at this. So I don't
we're never going to give you a cow woman. So here, we'll make a poster out of it.
Yeah, is there a Marvel Legends of Bova?
There is not a Marvel Legends Bova, and that's a damn shame. We need to get that done. Yeah.
Is there a Grim Reaper?
There is a Grim Reaper and a Wonder Man.
Oh, that's sweet. The old Wonder Man, or the newer one?
Both.
That's cool.
Both, and a purple variant where he's ionized.
That's pretty sweet.
What are Wonder Man's powers?
He ionizes. Yeah, energy stuff.
Ionize. I have a air purifier that does that.
Nice. Well, there you go. You could just get in the bathtub with your ionizer, and you will gain the powers of Wonder Man. With that, what do you think? Does anybody have any questions for us, like that we could answer for fun? I don't want to take too much more of people's time. This was fun talking about it. I don't know if you guys have any last comments before we dip out, or if you have questions for each other, for any of us.
They just have questions for themselves and they talk amongst themselves.
Yeah.
We have a very polite chat.
It's a very polite chat. It's okay. It's our first episode. We kind of sprung it on people, so I don't mind. I think Ricky, you had a fun question for us the other day that you thought we'd use, which is, what's the first comic each of us have read or had in our position? Do you want to go, Frank?
I was gonna say, you want to go first, Ricky? Like, we'll just.
Oh, I mean, the Dentist is my gateway into comics. I mean, as a kid, obviously I know who and what superheroes are. Batman was kind of my jazz as a kid because all the movies, even though they're terrible,
they were totally comic accurate.
But Dennis kind of, you would give me good comics, and I would read them, and they were nice little like stories about Spider-Man. You got me the Runaways. Trying to think of the other ones you got me, but just kind of. Rather than seeing them as characters, I was able to see comics as like actual stories, and that was a really cool thing for me.
Man, I don't even remember when that happened for me, because for me they were just characters for a long time, because I didn't pay attention to like the stories. I just like the art and the character designs and stuff like that, So I think I definitely started with a Spider-Man, but he was actually El Hombre de Araña. It was a Spider-Man comic that was printed for Spanish-speaking audiences, and I think we picked it up at like a TJ or a gas station I think it was in San Diego. I was visiting as a kid, and it was either in San Diego or in TJ. But yeah, I was like, okay, I can barely read this, but
it looked cool.
It looked awesome. And then shortly after that, I got an English one, and I fell in love with that. And one day, like much later, I got a starter box that you could buy from. It was Marvel Comics trying to get people to collect comics, and it was a starter box that came with like one issue of a bunch of different characters, and then it came with like all this Marvel art on the outside, and it's a box for storing your comic books, and you came with stickers and stuff. And yeah, it had like a Doctor Strange comic, a Silver Surfer comic, Spider-Man, X-Men, all the different ones. And man, I don't know how successful that box was for other people out there, but it ruined me for life. I was done. Like I was like,
Off
because
the top
I
of your head, what's your Marvel Legends count right now?
oh god, probably over 800, I think.
God,
Figures. Yeah.
Holy smokes.
Yeah. I collect pretty much every Marvel Legend that there ever was. Because I like them.
To be clear, when Dennis said he got an English Spider-Man, he was talking about he got Hobby Brown, Spider-Punk, who is an English Spider-Man.
No. What about you, Frank?
Darkhawk, number
I'm
2.
sorry, could you say that again?
Darkhawk.
Oh, okay.
Darkhawk.
All right. That's not a Marvel comic, right?
that sounds like a gas station magazine.
That's a gas station. You got to be 18 or older to buy that one, right?
I got canceled. I think I got canceled.
Oh, you did. You got canceled. Seriously, Dark Hawk was your first
Darkhawk number 2 was my first ever comic book. Yeah.
Wow.
I stole it from a 7-Eleven on. Dang, it was on my walk home from school. So I stole this comic book, and I'm like, hey, this looks cool. And it's Darkhawk fighting Hobgoblin, and Spider-Man's in the background, like, what? He's like, what's going on here? And so I went back and I stole the first issue, and then my dad heard about this, so he started buying me those issues. He's all like, look, if you want them, I'll buy them. Stop stealing them. And I'm all like, no promises, Dad. And yeah, I started collecting Darkhawk, and I'm all like, man, this guy is pretty convenient. He's a convenient superhero. But I'm all like, but who's this other guy? Oh, Spider-Man? I've seen that TV show. Let's see what this guy's all about. So I got more interested in Spider-Man from reading Darkhawk. And then like in the different issues, there were like he teams up with Captain America and Daredevil. Issue 9, he teams up with the Punisher, who's about to get canceled. So that one, I should definitely hold on to that issue.
and I think that's honestly why that box that I got ruined me for life, right? Because it started showing how they all interplay with each other, and so that's why I think I'm like, that's why I kind of like, I said I kind of like, I didn't retire it, but I eased back on my level of fandom as far as caring where the movies go, because the amount of interplay I got in Infinity War was like everything I ever wanted, right? It got to put Spider-Man in there with everybody all at once, and I got to see them all do combos and stuff like that, and so I think now I get impatient a little bit when I don't see that interplay, you know what I mean? So like, I know
they opened Pandora's box. Like, it's gonna be hard. Like, that was my beef for Iron Man 3. It's like, all right, you kidnapped the president. Where the fuck is Captain America? Like, it's hard for them not to play with each other now, and that's cool. But
yeah, so I think this show is going to show you a good reason why other characters are not playing with them, but I still expect it. You know what I mean? I expect characters to drop in and
contract disputes is why they don't play with each other.
Yeah, well, I think they do play with each other because I think everybody wants to be part of the Marvel universe now. So, so I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop on this show, where I can see like, okay, now I see what we're playing with. Like I need to know what all the toys are before I can really get invested in the excitement. So, yeah, ooh. But I think we should probably wrap it up because we're a little over, and hey, we got a couple of viewers, but the good thing is that if you weren't able to tune into us live this week, thanks for checking us out, after the fact, and be sure to try and tune in next Friday at 8 p.m. We'll be doing this every week, even when there's not a WandaVision, because there's always something fun Marvel to talk about, so we don't have to like just do TV shows or movies or whatever. I don't know if you guys are aware, but there's also these things called comic books that you can read. No, I'm just being facetious, but yes.
Print media is dead.
Not everyone could read.
You don't have to print it. You can still read it on digitally. But yeah, we'll always have something to talk about because Marvel is just constantly putting stuff out there. and we love it. So if you guys have questions for us next week, and thank you for all the lovely comments that we got on the side over here. We'll be back, and if you want to find more of the stuff going on that we're doing, like Denix Media has a lot of different stuff. A lot of it has Marvel content. There's action figure photography. There's Star Wars podcasts, and there's also Legends in 30, which is not necessarily specific to Marvel stuff, but or figure photo fight. But yeah, Frank,
Check it out.
Yeah, Frank, Ricky, you got anything else?
If you don't catch us live, you'll catch us dead because we won't be able to pay our bills and eat because you guys aren't watching us. So just think about that for a little bit.
That's true.
Ricky?
Disregard that. But no, Ricky the Nerd on Instagram. I'm always posting stuff I'm doing. But yeah, I'm excited for the weeks of Marvel content that we have coming, and excited to have another creative outlet or output for all the things that we talk about.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks to everybody for tuning in to Den Excelsior. We appreciate all you true believers out there. And I think that's enough said.
Bye.
I like that ending.
Yeah.